I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.
Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the DMB Podcast. I'm your host, Camilio Salamander, and my co-host, KB the Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
Now guys, I know we've been gone for a while, we haven't did this in a few weeks, but we back and on and popping. Catch us every Sunday at 10 o'clock. Well, I won't even put a time on it. Just catch us every Sunday for the DMB Podcast. Here you'll catch everything that goes on in the current week of wrestling, including Raw, SmackDown, AEW, AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage, AEW Dark, TNA, NXT, everything that happens in wrestling, you can catch it here. There's no need to go tune into anywhere else. We are the ESPN of wrestling. Yes, you catch the news, you catch anything, any fucking thing that goes on with wrestling, you can catch it here. Catch it at the DB Podcast.
Nice little comparison there with the ESPN line. Like how you dropped that in.
Yes, we're the ESPN of wrestling. You catch us anywhere. Catch us anything. Anything happening in wrestling, you could catch it here. Anything that's going to happen in wrestling, you could catch it here. You catch predictions. You could catch anything. Just anything with wrestling, just tune in to the DMB Podcast.
You heard my guy, Camilio Salamander. Tune in to the DMB Podcast, where, like he said, we're the ESPN of wrestling. But I think we've taken enough of their time plugging our shit. So let's hop into the week of wrestling. A week of wrestling, Salamander, that I will dare say WWE had the better product.
Yes, they did. Like, they actually showed promise. Like, hopefully
go that far.
Get another 2021. I'll say 2021 was the worst year in WWE history. Yes. This was that whole year was some bullshit. But this week topped it off. This week was actually good.
This week was incredibly good to me in terms of WWE. I have a lot of criticisms and a lot of concerns about AEW. We're going to get there. We're going to talk about it. Let's jump into Monday Night Raw. It is the Monday Night Raw after the Premier Live event, day one. And we're starting off with a Brock and Paul Heyman promo. This promo was fantastic. I wasn't anything because if you've seen a Brock and Paul Heyman promo segment, you've seen them all. It's all the same. But it's something about babyface Brock Lesnar, which I always have to give you your credit. When I first came back, I said, this is not going to work. You said, nah, you see how he's smiling? You see his mannerisms. This is going to get over. And babyface Brock, to me, is the best Brock that I've seen since he came in. This Brock looks fantastic. I like how Paul Heyman hyped up everyone for the Fatal 4-Way main event to determine the number one contender. Really loved how strong he put over Bobby Lashley, and even dropping the line in there where he was saying, I even told Brock straight to his face, I didn't think you were getting out of the Hurt Lock. I love that extra bit of storytelling there, harping back to that day one Premier Live event. What did you think about it? I thought that they knocked this out the park.
Like you said, any Paul Heyman promo, you've seen once, you've seen them all, but this one was just different. I love this promo. And talking about getting people over without a match, Paul Heyman did the damn thing. He put everyone over in the right way, but he really put over Bobby Lashley. He acknowledged that Bobby and Brock never faced off against each other. They never had a match. he gave everybody they props and everything, and then when it got to Bobby, that's was the one he was like, now this is a worthy competitor. I'm telling you, they gonna we getting that Brock and Bobby, and Bobby just getting the match that his dream match that he's been asking for, and it's finally getting it. Just like I said on previous episodes, if this was Bobby when he first came to WWE, when he not first came, but when he first returned back in like 2016, I don't think that Bobby was ready for Brock. It took Bobby to go heel, to develop that heel character for the fans to actually see with our own eyes and respect. But now we respect him as more of a wrestler now, because that babyface shit wasn't getting it. He done turned heel, show us what he can do as a heel. Now we don't want him to turn back. Just like Roman. Roman finally turned heel. Now he done got that respect from the wrestling community that he didn't have before. But it just really shows you what direction they head into. They about to put the belt back on the Almighty, on my guy. I'm telling you, that's what it's gonna lead into.
Loved everything about this opening segment. The first 15 minutes of Raw are typically, to me, the worst. This was the exact opposite. Moving on, we had RK Bro, the Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro versus Alpha Academy. 4.0 Gable. He's got his degree. I think he's got a master's with a 4.0. Smart. Alpha Academy won this. Otis hit the World's Strongest Slam on Matt Riddle, and he got the pinfall. Matt Riddle was trying to hit an RKO. I like the storytelling. The match wasn't long enough for my liking, and of course, Salamander, you know how I feel about champions losing on television. Overall, I still thought the match was very good. Just didn't give it a lot of time.
See, on this one, the match is good, but champions lose on television is something like this case, then I can see, because it's the next day right after the pay-per-view. It was more of a thing like the Alpha Academy caught them on it, like that, like RK Bro was basically slipping, and Alpha Academy capitalized on it. So something like this, I respect more versus how previously they'll lose due to like a roll up or anything in that nature. One thing I do want to say is that Chad Gable, he is amazing.
Yes.
He is completely underrated.
He took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say that.
Yes. Tiger suplex.
Well, I love, one of my favorite moves in all of WWE is the Chaos Theory, the rolling German suplex from the corner. That is one of my all-time favorite moves in WWE. I put it up there, honestly, with my love of moves, up there with the Styles Clash and the RKO. It's just something, because you don't think Chad Gable can get away with that.
Yeah. RK Bro, the more this go on, the more it makes sense of them being together. I mean, babe out of it. They both stoners. Randy Orton, he like to dibble and dabble in the razzle dazzle. We all know Matt Riddle do that. That's his whole gimmick. Is he a stoner? Just a stoner to know how to throw hands. That's really his gimmick. But it just makes sense of them being together. And Randy Orton being the vet, he see himself into Matt Riddle, not even knowing why I'm liking this guy, but I like this guy. And that's the whole reason why they teamed up.
I mean, it really just goes to show you how great Randy Orton is. And I know me and you have often butted heads about, the best wrestler, Randy Orton, Kenny Omega. But I think as good as Matt Riddle has been, Randy Orton's been twice as good in this.
Yeah.
Like, Randy Orton makes this team. A lot of people come for Matt Riddle, I come for Randy Orton because I already know what Matt Riddle's going to do. I just sit back and wait to listen to Randy Orton's responses to the nonsense. And if I'm WWE, I would keep the nonsense going. Like, I like how he had the chains and the glasses. We need to keep upping the ante. He needs to get more ridiculous. And then, you know what I think we should do? I think we should pull the trigger when we get to the most ridiculous, but they're still tag team champions when the turn happens.
Yeah. You know, another thing, back to Alpha Academy. Now,
Yes.
them as a team is underrated. I really think they deserve the belts. If you're going to take the belts off of RK Bro, why not put on Alpha Academy?
This is the team, yes.
They got real professional wrestling moves. They perform great. They're super energetic, and they really work as a team. If they do get it, they need to keep it for at least 6 months. One thing I can say about the WWE fans is when we actually get a good ass technical match, they don't know how to appreciate it. When WWE put on a good technical wrestling match, WWE fans do not appreciate it.
Well,
I think it's boring because it's too long.
Well, here's my thing.
Excitement and shit like that, but AEW can put on that same technical match and they get all the praise.
Well, here's my thing, because I somewhat agree with you. I would argue the opposite. When they do put on a great technical match, it doesn't go that long. The fans can't get invested into those spots because you know it's going to be over in about 3 to 5 minutes. That's why you always say, well, WWE doesn't need to put on a 25 to 30 minute match. Sometimes they do. You see what happened with Roman and Cesaro. The question is, do you have the people who can go that long? And the people who can go that long, you don't ever want to give them an opportunity to go that long. I would love to see a 20 to 25 minute barn burner at the Royal Rumble for the Raw tag team titles. I mean, they gave the Usos and the New Day, 15, 20 minutes? And look how that turned out. You can give a team like RK Bro and Alpha Academy 20 to 25 minutes and they're going to tell a fantastic story. And then if you want to pull the switch, not the switch. If you want to pull the switch, go ahead, because I think that's the team. But if you want to pull the turn, that adds on another 3 to 5 minutes alone, because you're gonna have Randy Orton hype it up. That's all I think.
This whole show wasn't really. They put. WWE did good this week, but they started off bad.
And well, let's continue.
Later on in the shows will save their ass.
Yes.
I can say that.
Let's continue on, just breezing through. There was a Bobby Lashley segment next. Loved it. MVP was going to talk, but then he just left. The Almighty says Brock fears him. I love the little subtle of MVP leaving, because remember in the Paul Heyman promo, he said, let's talk about MVP. Matter of fact, let's not talk about MVP. And I like how MVP was just like, okay, I don't need to say nothing. And just, they panned in on Bobby Lashley after he said Brock fears him. Loved it. 24/7 title. I was very confused about this, Salamander, because it's a 24/7 championship match, but it's a tag team match. Akira Tozawa and Tamina versus Reggie Dana Brooke. It went only 3 minutes. It was god awful, and Reggie got the pinfall. So does that mean that Reggie is the 24/7 champion, or did this thing just become a 1-belt tag team?
I'm lost for words. That like I said, it was off to a horrible start, but later on in the show is what saved their ass. At this point, just retire the 24/7 champion title. You're not gonna have it on R-Truth, the person who actually understands how to carry that title. There is no need for you to even. What the fuck is this? How you gonna put a singles title on the line in a fucking tag team match? That's confusing as fuck. Like you said, Reggie got the win, but is he the champion, or is him and Dana Brooke the champ. I don't know. It's fucking confusing. I don't, just take this belt away. It's not the belt that Mick Foley said we was gonna have. The way he described it was like the hardcore title.
Well, it is the hardcore title
on the third hour of the show.
But if you
bitch been on every 5 minutes of the show in the beginning, everybody who they don't know what the fuck to do, who's on the release chopping block, is chasing for this damn title, and just retire it. It's already ran its course. There's no need. This motherfucking title be on Raw. It ain't even a SmackDown title or a title that could appear anywhere, like they said. This is horrible.
I mean, but Salamander, it is the hardcore title, just without the hardcore. That belt is to be defended anytime, any place, anywhere. That was the hardcore title, except you could do hardcore shit with it.
Yeah, this one now.
Yeah, this is god awful. Like you, retire the belt. I don't want to see it. Moving on. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair promo next. They were trying to salvage the BS finish at the Premier Live event day 1, where Becky was supposed to get her foot on the ropes, but it didn't happen, so they had to call an audible. And they just didn't want to just have Liv Morgan come out and say, one more opportunity. If I lose, I'll never challenge for it again while you hold it. They just decided to bring Bianca Belair out. And then they attacked Becky Lynch, and then they started fighting each other, but Becky Lynch stood tall at the end of the day. I thought this was god awful. Honestly, I just would have had Becky Lynch hype up the Royal Rumble and kept it pushing, and maybe ran a singles match between Belair and Liv Morgan if you did want to do Becky Lynch to fight at the Royal Rumble.
I can tell you do another thing. This promo, hell with it. Just have, like you said, have Becky Lynch come out, cut a promo, talk about how she the baddest one, last one standing. Talk about the people that she done went through, which is just Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. Boom. Then you have Liv Morgan come out, blah, 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 get interrupted by Bianca Belair. You know, they love interruptions during promos.
Right.
And Bianca Belair get interrupted by another woman who feel like they deserve a shot. And then that woman get interrupted by another woman who feel like they deserve a shot. And then you just go ahead and do what you did later on in the match. Just make a fatal 4-way match. And whoever wins becomes number 1 contender. Will face Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble. You just have Liv Morgan come out on top, but do not have Bianca Belair take the pin. That way you protect Bianca Belair. Liv Morgan challenging for the title again is more believable because she actually fought for it and won that slot. And then boom, it's a win-win. Even though we already know that at the end of the day, they're going to have but Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair again. But that way you can run that one again at the Royal Rumble, that you could build up to Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch for the next pay-per-view.
Your idea is way better than mine. God awful. Throw the whole promo and whole segment to get away. Moving on, we had a Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins backstage segment. They were talking about implementing the plan that they were going to do, or that they did at day 1, just in the fatal 4-way that happened later tonight. I love how Kevin Owens asked Seth Rollins if he was lying, if he wasn't going to help him. Just that little bit of Kevin Owens just feeling a bit concerned, a little cornered. Because if you remember, he lied his way in. So the fact that Seth Rollins would lie to him now, he's kind of on edge about it. I like that. It was a decent backstage segment.
I agree. And after what happened later on in the main event, I really think these two should. That's why you can take them out the title picture for right now. I would have them two tag us because they do make a good team.
That they do.
You can boost the tag team. You take them out the main picture because if you're going to put the title on Bobby Lashley, you don't want Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins coming up with losses after losses after losses, trying to make their way there.
Right.
So put them in the tag. They give the tag team division more of a boost. You feel me? Put the title on them. Not right away, but you can build them up to it and stuff. Because you can tell the story how they tagging and fatal 4-way matches and shit, matches that supposed to be independent, but they making a good team there. So then boom, once their opportunity is done, they can see it, but like, you know what, we make a good tag. Why won't we team up with each other and just chase the tag team titles. Boom, they do that. Next couple for like a whole month, they just face different tag teams on Raw, run through it, and eventually become number one contender, win their titles. Boom, hold it for a little bit. After they drop it, then they go back to the main roster as single competitors with mutual respect for each other. You feel me? They ain't even got to turn heel or face on each other after they lose the titles. They can just, all right, boom, we did that. We accomplished that. We became tag team champions with each other. We lost the belts. Let's go back. You feel me? If we meet at the end, that's what's up. But go back and stuff like that. I think that makes more sense versus, I think that's the way they should go with them, honestly. They do make a good tag. And, I mean, if he ain't gonna be up with, like, because Jon Moxley is in AEW, so I don't want to see, Seth or Roman tag with anybody else. But if I have to see it, why not see Seth pair up with Kevin Owens?
No, I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. Moving on, we had the Women's Tag Team Championship match up next. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH, almost a superhero, versus Queen Zelina and Carmella. The champions retain. Yes, one more time.
Shit on this. Shit on this. For one, there was no build up to this goddamn match.
Nope.
For two, where the fuck Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH been at? For three, goddamn, y'all this is on the same. This title is on the same borderline as the motherfucking 24/7 title. What the fuck is this shit? What? Get this shit out of my TV. This shit should not be on TV no more. Y'all gonna put a motherfucking title on the motherfucking TV, give us a motherfucking title on free TV, and make sure the motherfucking shit has built up to it. Don't just throw us a motherfucking tag team title. That's like later on in the match, later on in the show, Damian Priest versus Dolph Ziggler. The match was good, but goddamn, Dolph Ziggler ain't do shit. He was in the tag. What happened to the Dirty Dogs? Why is he in this match? He taking away an opportunity. He a tag team superstar. He taking away this opportunity for somebody who actually deserved to be there. No. I get that Damian Priest is doing a motherfucking open challenge and shit, but no. Why? No. I hate title matches with no build up and shit because it make no sense. If it's not a fucking open challenge, it should not be on TV. We just gonna challenge you for the tags. No. Why? They're just trying to put the belt on Zelina Vega and Carmella. Mainly Carmella, trying to get her a title. That's all they wanted to do. Rhea Ripley, do y'all guys who listening, do y'all guys understand that Rhea Ripley was the baddest woman on NXT? I didn't think she was undefeated.
I don't think she was undefeated, but she dethroned Shayna Baszler. She dethroned Shayna Baszler.
How good Shayna Baszler was in NXT? She beat Asuka. No, she didn't. But damn near.
She beat Asuka. She beat Asuka on the main roster for the Raw Women's title, WrestleMania.
Yeah, she beat Asuka, yeah. But she bad as bruh. Not Rhea Ripley, but Shayna Baszler, she was undefeated on NXT, right?
I don't think so.
I think it was another woman besides Asuka who was undefeated in NXT. Or at least she was undefeated like her first 2 years before she picked up a loss. I think that's right with Shayna. But even then, they dropped the ball with that shit because we supposed to be saying Queen Shayna. She was supposed to win that shit. I don't know. But this was horrible. This shouldn't even been on TV at all. If y'all was gonna get the belts to them, build up for that shit. And I'm shitting on the next segment too. I don't want to see no fucking celebrity in the Royal Rumble.
Well, since you brought it up,
Cena, I ain't trying to see you.
Well, since you went to it, let me just say this women's tag team title match was god awful. And my bigger problem with it, and I don't even like her as a on-screen character, but why is Nikki ASH always taking a pinfall?
Like what you say, Nikki Ash.
Nikki Ashtray.
Ass. That's why. They released her husband and the whole Sanity group. They didn't know what the fuck to do with her, so they just changed their gimmick to that because they didn't want people to be reminded of Sanity because she was originally a member of Sanity and shit. This is the whole reason why she was acting crazy and all that. But what the fuck? WWE don't know what to do with gimmicks. They want to get everybody a superhero gimmick because it's fucking 2005.
Moving on, Johnny Knoxville is going to be in the Royal Rumble. God fucking awful. I don't care. Don't want to see a celebrity in there.
Yeah, this diarrhea. This shit is horrible. Johnny Knoxville, like, why you want to come now? But in 2007, when your ass was supposed to be there, you told him no because of that Chris Benoit shit that happened. And you wanted to move away from the company because you don't want bad spotlight on you. But now, motherfucking almost 20 years later, you want to come back and shit. No. I'll tell that nigga no. I'll tell him no. No, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see it either. Did not want to see it either. Moving on, we had the Street Profits versus Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz. This was okay. They're pushing the Street Profits, which they should. Apollo Crews has fallen so far off. He was just the Intercontinental Champion. Now he's come to Raw and is doing absolutely nothing.
Shit on this too. I love the Street Profits, but goddamn, y'all just had an opportunity at day one. Y'all lost. That means if it's 6 tags in the on Raw, that means y'all go from number 1 to number 6 because y'all was number 1 contenders. Y'all lost your title shot. Y'all go right back down. Gotta work y'all way right back up, and then the next team fall in line. That's how it should go. That's how the fucking I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but when you got champions challenging, that's how ranking go. Hey, you number 1, you lose your opportunity, you start over. Hey, there was no need for them to win this shit. Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz, they are good. Apollo Crews, this whole gimmick, throw the whole gimmick away. This shit is not believable now. I don't give a fuck if you the Prince. That don't mean shit now because you ain't picking up no win. Go back to being the person that come out smiling and just know how to do backflips and shit. That's all you was before you got this gimmick. You was getting a little push, like you said. You came from being an Intercontinental Champion to losing on Raw. What the fuck? I don't see. It just shows you they don't know who to push and stuff. They got all these people. They just signing motherfuckers just to sign them. Not even know what the fuck to do with them. And everything. He could be Apollo could be a good, worthy contender for Damian Priest for his U.S. title that y'all can be building up a program against. Or say, fuck it, since he was doing so good on SmackDown before y'all start having him lose to Big E and everything. Since he was doing so good on SmackDown, you could bring that same one back on Raw, have him win a few, put him in the main roster picture. You ain't got to get him the title or nothing, but you can have him be a good-ass main eventer, a new up-and-coming face in the main event scene who can pick up some wins. And then you have Commander Aziz get a mid-card title, and you can set up a program with Damian Priest and Commander. That's it. That you could do some shit like that. But no, how about put him in the tag and just have him lose? That's what WWE, I don't know what the fuck they be thinking.
Yeah, I don't know either. We had a Damian Priest backstage segment hyping up the United States title match. Didn't really care. We had a Doudrop, Sonya Deville, and Adam Pearce segment. Doudrop came in complaining that Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair always get opportunities. She said Liv just lost to Becky. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, and you just lost 3 times to Bianca Belair. So why do you deserve a Raw Women's title match? Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville said next week we're going to do a triple threat: Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Doudrop. Winner gets Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble. I thought this shit was trash. None of these 3 women need to be challenging for the Raw Women's title. We need to get some new faces.
Who they have? They ain't been building up nobody. Last episode I said after Liv Morgan lost, this really shows you the struggle that WWE is struggling with their women. They mid-card women. They don't know how to build up a proper mid-card, but when that number 1 contender person lose, you could be sending in the next person that could be believable, that can defeat the champion and stuff. But that just shows you that WWE don't know what they're doing, and they just signing people just to sign them and shit like that. They ain't got nothing. They don't have nothing. That's why they keep giving us the same. That's why we got the same like 4 or 5 women that's in the main card picture. Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, 2 of them is out. But now we about to they about to throw a title on Charlotte. Best believe that shit happening. Ain't Charlotte on SmackDown?
She's still the SmackDown Women's Champion.
See? Her and Becky about to keep that shit for a while. They're not dropping that shit till at least mid this year. Because they ain't got nobody to put it on. They're not building up no other talent. The people that they always using, half of them is out right now for a while. So they about to keep the title on them too. And everything. Like 2006. You got Triple H and you got John Cena. Put the title on them, just let them hold it. That's where most of it came from. That's why I said, to me, I think Charlotte Flair is a female Triple H. And I say that because in the 2000s, when, you know, the Stone Colds and the Rocks left, they ain't really had nobody. So the next person in line was Triple H. So if they needed a champion for anything, give it to Triple H. That's what it was. Just think about it. He the same motherfucker when Brock got drafted to SmackDown. He the same motherfucker that Eric Bischoff came out with the gold belt and just gave it to him. Even though that they turned that into a storyline, but that just should show you that they didn't have nobody worthy enough to build up to be this new champion for Raw. So let's just give it to Triple H. That's how it is. They ain't gonna just hand nobody no title now. So guess what? They just have anybody who's champion. Oh, you just gonna lose. You losing, rolling up, losing. How are you champion? You losing, and then you face Charlotte. Charlotte just getting no more contender spot out of nowhere. She could be on the 2-week losing streak. Then she win, become champion. Like how? That just shows they don't have nobody. They not even willing to build up nobody either. I won't even say they don't have nobody. The thing is, they're not willing to build up new characters. That's the thing. They have people. Anybody on the roster is believable to be a good main event talent. The thing is, WWE don't know how to book them, and they don't know how to book new characters. That's what it is. So they give us shit that we had already, like Nikki Ash. That's the female Hurricane. That's it. It's obvious they gave it to Zelina Vega, the queen of the ring. First ever, gave it to somebody who y'all really didn't care about because I fired him. Not that long ago, they fired their husband. Then assigned him, didn't get him with the match that they was asking for a tribute to her father. It just showed disrespect on top of disrespect, and it's like they just gave this to you just so you could like close your mouth, be happy for a little bit. But the obvious way was to go with Shayna Baszler. She was the most powerful one in there. But no. Who? Telling you, man. Hashtag make woman wrestling great again. They not doing it. This shit is trash.
Well, Salamander, the queen shall never be disrespected by me. I love the queen, and if you think she's a female Triple H, I will neither confirm nor deny if I agree with that, because I love the queen. I can tell you what I didn't love. The United States title match, Damian Priest versus Dolph Ziggler. Damian Priest could lose the title off count-out disqualification. I hate this split personality gimmick for Damian Priest. Is he Damian or is he Priest? This whole thing is stupid. The match was fine. It's Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is going to get you a decent match out of anybody. And Damian Priest is good. I just hate this gimmick. I hate the split personality gimmick. I think it takes away from the greatness of Damian Priest. The match was fine.
Yeah. I agree. It's just, I don't know. I'm damn near done but at least Raw. SmackDown know what they're doing. But they ain't never teased this person before. Now that all of a sudden they want to do it. It was like there's Undertaker going. You can tell that they really need like that next supernatural character.
Damian Priest ain't it.
That's what they had it. They had it with the fucking Fiend. But no, I'm gonna let you go. What the fuck? I don't know. Move on.
I will. Austin Theory, Vince McMahon backstage segment next. Not gonna lie, Salamander, been loving these segments. You can barely understand what Vince McMahon is saying, but I love this dynamic of Austin Theory and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon told Austin Theory that he was in the Royal Rumble. I like this mentor / mentee thing. I love seeing Vince on TV, if I'm being honest. And this Vince, this is the best Vince outside of the stuff that he did with Stone Cold. I really like this. Like I said, I really like Vince McMahon taking Austin Theory underneath his wing. It really goes to show who Vince McMahon thinks the future is.
I guess he think Austin Theory. I mean, he's good, but
I think Austin Theory can do it all. He can wrestle. He can cut a great promo. He's got a great look. I think in about 2 to 3 years, he could be main eventing WrestleManias.
To me, I think they had it when they had Leo Rush. But
Leo Rush.
He can wrestle. He can cut promos.
I'm sorry, Salamander. Leo Rush doesn't fit the height requirements.
That's the thing. It's because they got so many damn standards that they live up to, but he had it all. And I know they weren't gonna put the belt on him because he ain't tall enough, big enough, but I don't know. I mean, shit, they had it before. All them NXT stars they released.
Yeah, that too.
They got it. Yeah, Finn Balor too.
Oh, where has he been?
But they ain't capitalizing on it.
Where has he been?
There's no reason why he shouldn't be in WWE champion already.
Well, he was the first Universal champion
for a day, but after that injury, it's like WWE. It's like they've been scared to put it back on him.
Blame Seth Rollins.
I mean that, yes, but no at the same time because accidents happen. I would say that was a mixture of mixed communication. Seth
why are you doing the? Why are you doing the?
I mean, shit. They do. They look at the indies. They came from shit like that, so they know it. But it was a mixture of both. Of Finn Balor, he looked back and had his arm out, trying to break the fall. So that fucked up his shit too. That's the reason why.
I'm glad you said that because that's actually part of my explanation when we get to Dynamite. But we'll get to that.
But I don't know. I just think they had it. There's so many people that could have had before that could be the future of what WWE is going to look like, but they dropped it. They let go so many times. Look at Malachi Black right now. Look at Miro right now. Look at John Moxley right now. Look at everybody who was with WWE who left to the competitor who was doing great. I think they had the future. They just let go. It'll fall right between their fingers. But they also is it that, or is it the fact they have too much talent, don't know how to book it?
I think WWE has priorities, and one of the priorities is making sure that Vince is always happy. So if it came from Vince, 9 times out of 10, it's going to make it to TV. If it came from anybody else, Vince would probably take it under consideration. If he doesn't like it, fuck it. Moving on, we had Miz and Maurice, Edge and Beth Phoenix promo. Me and you had a minor disagreement about how we were going to get to the mixed tag team match. I thought that Miz should have won the match, so Edge would have to come out and bring out Beth Phoenix. You were saying that Miz could be the sore loser. I think WWE tonight definitely went your route. I wasn't a real big fan of this segment. to me, it just came across very cringe. And then when Beth Phoenix jumped at Maurice and then Maurice fell, that was almost as bad as the Eva Marie fall, where she stumbled in Alexa's playground. I just thought the whole thing came across as very cringe.
I don't want to see this. I basically let everybody know how I felt at the day one review. So yeah, I don't want to see this.
I don't either. You know what else I didn't want to see? AJ Styles versus Omos. Omos got the dub. This was god fucking awful. This is probably the worst AJ Styles match in his WWE career.
Look,
and it wasn't even his fault.
Let me say this. We all know why they decided to break them up, because they want to push Omos. Is it too soon? Fuck yes. Like I've been saying, y'all could have turned them into motherfucking Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash 2.0. Y'all ain't even had to put them in a tag. That's where y'all fucked up at. And meanwhile, is y'all basically exposed Omos. That's why AJ was doing all the work. Omos just came in for the finish. I fucked up by putting them in a tag. What I should have did was I trying to put tag team belts on everybody. What I should have did was should have had AJ continue being a single star. If you don't want him in that main event scene, put him down in the mid card. Add him win his matches, but on the ring side he has Omos. Omos help him win. That's when we see little glimpses of shit. The referee distracted. Omos hit him with a claw slam outside the ring. Boom. Toss him back in the ring. AJ, phenomenal form. Boom. And some shit like that. Had him go on the mid-card title spree. He hold the damn mid-card title for like a year. And then in the meanwhile, you got Omos in the fucking performance center getting his shit together. Then when AJ dropped the title, it's due to Omos. Then you can set up this match. Now that no fucking Raw could be a pay-per-view worthy match. Then that's when we actually get our first glimpse at Omos to see if he gonna make it or not. But they exposed him too soon. In the meanwhile, they could have been working on him doing that, and while they capitalizing off of AJ. This match was so bad, it made Vince was like, AJ, go to NXT. You could tell he didn't want to be there. He was like, what the fuck? I came from Impact straight on to the main roster. Number 3 at the Royal Rumble got a huge pop that you thought I wasn't going to get. And I have a bad match because you put me in this shit. You put me in a match with somebody who can't wrestle, who's 7 foot, who I can't even carry. And you don't put me on NXT? He didn't want to be. You see that he was walking slow. Everybody was confused when his music hit. They was happy. They was like, oh, but why? It was one of those like, oh, he got heat. He got some heat on him. That's what they was thinking. But yes, this match was horrible. That if they put AJ in fucking NXT.
This match was god fucking awful. Moving on. Alexa Bliss vignette. She's on her way back to Raw. I'll believe that. I'll believe that when I see Veer Mahan on Monday Night Raw. You know, he's been coming for months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give Alexa Bliss a year, and then she'll be back.
I think if she come back, they're not gonna they throwing that whole shit away with her trying to be like the new female Fiend, because y'all went about that shit all wrong. Y'all fired, you know, Bray Wyatt. Put it basically just did it like we ain't supposed to notice that the Fiend ain't here no more, and now Alexa Bliss doing all this shit she never did. All this supernatural shit that she never did.
Right.
Like we was gonna get behind that. Like, no. So she gonna come back as Little Miss Bliss. That's what she coming back as.
I hope so. Moving on. Main event time. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins versus Big E versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley got the pin. I'm sorry. Hold on. Bobby Lashley got the win.
Yeah,
I thought
we gotta give it up for him. You know, we gotta give it up. Man.
I thought the match was fantastic. Glad Bobby Lashley got the win. The show went off the air with Brock saying he'll see Roman on Friday. I love how we're still continuing that story with the Tribal Chief and Bobby Lashley mixed in. Like I said, I thought the match was fantastic. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins working together. Big E I felt like Big E was just there, and Bobby Lashley was going to be Bobby Lashley.
All right, so this is what I got to say about it. Ready?
Yes.
You got to sit back and relax because I'm about to go on for a while.
Okay.
But one, the match was fucking phenomenal. It was fucking amazing. You see, everybody was cool. Then when Bobby came out, the crowd was getting behind him.
I did see that.
For the Almighty. You know?
I did see that.
This shit. This match was so fucking amazing. I was excited the whole time. And then for two, I think Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens went about this the wrong way. They kept trying to pin Bobby Lashley or Big E. What I think they should have did, they should have kept trying to roll each other up. And then had Big E and Lashley prevent them from pinning each other since they was working together. They could have did something like that, but I think that's where just them trying to work as a team fucked them up. But I'm glad Big E didn't take the pin, because if he did, put him back in the mid card. He don't need to be in the main card if that would have happened. Three things that we had got from this shit. We got finally getting Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. And this is one thing I just thought about. Bobby Lashley, Big E, and Roman, triple threat. It happened on Raw, right?
Right.
Roman won.
Right.
Did we get a Bobby versus Roman 1-on-1?
No, we did not.
Yeah, okay.
No, we were supposed to get it, but then they no, they didn't take it off Bobby. No, we did not get one yet.
Did we get Big E versus Roman?
We did get Big E versus Roman.
Yeah, they took the belt off of Bobby and put it on Big E. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So, for one, Roman is 1-0 against Bobby. I think what's gonna happen is,
You mean Big E?
Nah, Bobby. It's in the triple threat.
Oh, okay.
He won.
Yeah.
So what I think is, if Bobby beat Brock, which we know he's gonna beat Brock at the Royal Rumble, that just means that at Mania, Roman is gonna defeat Brock, because it's like all eyes is against Roman right now because of Brock Lesnar and what Paul Heyman said, that he was saving him from Brock. So what I think is gonna happen is, like, he basically, like, leading up to Mania, we gonna think Brock is gonna win because he gonna be dominating, attacking Roman, suplexing him, all that shit, getting the upper hand at every point he can get. Then at the night of the show, he's gonna actually lose, but Roman's actually gonna defeat him and actually had an upper hand. But Brock lost to Bobby too, so it's like, what they gonna set up is the fact that Roman's biggest competitor that can actually be believable defeating Roman is gonna be Bobby Lashley, because they never faced off in 1-on-1. He was able to defeat Brock. Both of them defeated Brock, but that 1-on-1 we ain't never had yet.
I can see that.
Max, that's gonna make both careers.
I can see that. If Roman's going away and you want to cement that next main event guy, I can see Roman losing to Bobby.
But I do want to say this. I got 3 things from this Raw. This Raw is a good. I get a thumbs up. And I take away 3 things from this Raw. This is what I was going to get into. 1, we finally getting to see Brock versus Bobby. The second thing is we finally seeing, babyface Brock with Paul Heyman on the side. But Paul Heyman ain't doing all. I get it now, Dodie. Man, Brock is heel. Paul do all the talking. With Brock is face, it's a mixture of both. But and the most important thing is that we finally getting Brock looking like a normal human being. He ain't some beast like they portrayed him. Like he just like how they had Festus back in the early 2000s when the bell ring just turned crazy, just attack anybody in front of him and stuff. Like he ain't like that no more. It's more believable. It's more believable.
Yeah, I thought this Raw was. Go ahead.
It just look like anybody can, like, if you just have a good night, you can possibly pick up the win from Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I thought this Raw was good. There was a lot of bad, but the stuff that was good was tremendously good, and it kind of levels that out. So I mean, out of 10, if I'm being honest, Salamander, I'm going to give Raw 7. The stuff that was good was twice as good as the stuff that was bad. So I'm going to give Raw 7. Moving on, WWE NXT 2.0 New Year's Evil. We're just going to breeze through this. It really felt like a funeral, the death of the Black and Gold. So I don't really want to spend too much time on it. We had the North American Championship Cruiserweight title unification bout between Carmelo Hayes and Roderick Strong. Carmelo Hayes is the North American champion, Roderick Strong the Cruiserweight. I thought the match was fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you, Salamander. It's a match of the year candidate for me. It was that good. Carmelo Hayes got the win. Carmelo Hayes pulled off a crazy X-plex from the top rope. I didn't know who took the brunt of it. It was fantastic. Then we had AJ Styles and Tommaso Ciampa in a backstage segment. They were just pretty much just saying what's up, just reconnecting, I guess. The question I wanted to ask you is, do you think AJ Styles needed to go to NXT? Because he's on record saying he wish he would have went to NXT just to learn how WWE does everything. So do you think he should have went to NXT? And if he did go, how many championships do you think he would have won?
I think if they was gonna put him on NXT, they should have put him when he first came. That way, NXT then. Everybody who listened, do y'all understand? AJ Styles made his debut, WWE debut, 2016 at the Royal Rumble. If he made his NXT debut, he would have been facing the likes of Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. We wouldn't got that bullshit on the main roster. We would have got the New Japan type quality match that they had. Even people like Hideo Itami was good on NXT. Man, everybody who on the main roster who came from NXT, at NXT they was like that guy. So I think if he was gonna be on NXT, they should have did it when he first came. Even if he was gonna be on there for a year and out, I think he would have just been a one-time NXT champion. He would have came, made his debut, made an impact. That it been a build up for the next takeover. He would have won it at that takeover, and then hold it until probably like that takeover after Mania or that takeover for Mania. Drop it, make his debut to Raw after Mania. Boom. That's what I think would have happened.
All right.
He made his main roster debut in 2017. Fucking Raw and SmackDown was actually going good.
Okay. I was just curious. Just off hearing what he said, talking when he came in, he should have went to NXT. There was a promo for the Dusty Classics. The women start in February. The men start in 2 weeks. Don't know who they're going to put in there. I have a lot of high hopes. If I'm being honest, I hope the Creed brothers of Diamond Mine win it for the men. I love the Creed brothers. Next up, we had AJ Styles and Grayson Waller promo. The NXT 2.0 crowd love AJ Styles. I don't know why. You would think that they would be more geared towards their homegrown, but I guess AJ Styles is AJ Styles, so what the hell am I talking about? The promo was okay. It's every babyface heel promo. I'm really liking Grayson Waller as a character and as a performer. I think he's going to have a nice little run on the main roster when he's main roster ready. We had a Pete Dunne, Tony D'Angelo promo package. They're going to fight next week or this upcoming week, I believe. Tony D'Angelo broke Pete Dunne's hand, or I think he might have fractured it with the crowbar. Pete Dunne told Tony D'Angelo, bring the crowbar. Kayfabe.
Why? Later on.
Okay. Kayfabe. Next up, we had Caden Carter, Casey Canizaro, Amari Miller, Indy Hartwell, Persia Priata, Wendy Chu, and Tiffany Stratton backstage segment. This was god awful, and Wendy Chu was just asleep, so I guess that's her gimmick now. She's a sleeping wrestler. Next up, we had Riddle and MSK versus Imperium. Riddle and MSK got the win. I thought this was fantastic. This is another, to me, match of the year candidate. NXT 2.0 had two in the first episode. And that goes to show who they're pushing and why they're pushing them. I really love the match. I am a little concerned. I've always said Walter should be the guy to dethrone Roman. A lot of people liked what Walter did. I'm going to be honest, Salamander, I didn't like it. Those chops weren't as loud as when they were in Triple H's NXT. So I'm very confused. I think they're going to start watering down Walter for the main roster. We had a Joe Gacy and Harlan interview segment next. Joe Gacy and Harlan are entering themselves into the Dusty Classic. I don't like Joe Gacy's gimmick. It's very controversial. And Harlan, I'm still getting accustomed to. So he looks good in the ring from what I've seen, but I have to see more. Elektra Lopez promo next. She and Santos Escobar are having problems with Zion Quinn, so they're going to fight on the next NXT. Winner gets Elektra Lopez. We had the NXT Women's Title match: Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez versus Cora Jade. Mandy Rose got the win. I thought this match was god awful. Everybody in this match was not good. Cora Jade is still green. I don't understand why she's even getting a title push. She needs a little bit more seasoning before she's ready for a title program. But I do love that WWE threw her out there just so she can get her feet wet. And sometimes you have to do that with young talent, just so they can understand how it heightens you as a character. You know what I'm saying? To get put into a title program. We had a Boa vignette, and then we had a Andre Chase and Von Wagner segment. I still don't know what the fuck a Von Wagner is. I'm really a huge fan of Andre Chase and his teachable moments. I think Andre Chase is a great little manager on-screen character. And, I would honestly love to see him on the main roster and get some of those people in the mid-card who are just kind of floundering at the moment. I would like for him to come down there, and because he hands out scholarships, right? So, those mid-carders that are floundering, he comes down there and says this is a teachable moment, and he's offering them a scholarship to his academy. I think that is a gimmick that can translate to the main roster, and I think it has a high ceiling. We had the main event, the NXT Championship on the line, Tommaso Ciampa versus Braun Breaker. I thought this match was fantastic. Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker have put on fantastic bouts every time they get in the ring. What I didn't like, a couple things. The Tommaso Ciampa tapping out to the Steiner recliner. I didn't like that. I didn't need to see Tommaso Ciampa lose via submission, and Braun Breaker kicking the Big X. I didn't agree with either. So, but outside of those two things, I thought the match was fantastic. I would have to give NXT 2.0 a major up out of 10. I'm going to give them an 8. NXT 2.0 was good just outside of the women's title match and a couple different other segments I didn't necessarily agree with, but I thought it was very good. Very good.
I'm giving
Moving
it a 5. I just don't
5.
understand why AJ's there. I don't understand why Matt Riddle came back. And then, man, like you said, that women's title, that was some bull. That sleepy shit, that's some bull. That's just mainly it, though. And then just if they were just gonna, they should have been did this shit with Braun Baker instead of booking it down. He should have won it when they first had a match instead of Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
That's all they was gonna do. But just another fuck you. Like,
True. Yeah, big one too. Moving on, we have AEW Dynamite. Starting off the show, we have the AEW World Championship on the line. Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page. The first match went 60 minutes. This match only went 30. I thought this match was fantastic. Hangman Page got the win off the buckshot lariat. Bryan Danielson looked fantastic. The jumping jacks. Before I continue, there were 3 judges: Jerry Lynn, Paul White, and Mark Henry, just in case it did go 60 minutes. Like I said, I thought the match was fantastic. I love when Hangman won for the buckshot lariat. Bryan Danielson, he just fainted from exhaustion. The fact that they were both bleeding. I've never seen Bryan Danielson with blood pouring down his face, but that was a fantastic visual. It was brutal. It had great spots. And Hangman getting this win, I think this cements his title reign, if I'm being honest. If he was to lose that belt in his next title defense, I think he's already a star. He came in and he beat the best pure wrestler on AEW television, the hottest guy in the company. I think this cements his title reign.
I was gonna say, for this to be his Bryan Danielson first loss, what a way to go out. What a way. I'm not mad at the results. This is good. Bryan Danielson, he should just stay heel. I don't want to see him as a face. I see him as a face long enough. I'm loving this. Let me go out and just have a hell of a match for Bryan Danielson. I just love this type of character he's shown.
Yeah, loved it. Next up, the Acclaimed are dropping a music video against Sting and Darby. Can't wait to see that. Moving on, we have Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus the Captain Shawn Dean. CM Punk comes out and MJF runs. Shawn Dean then is telling MJF to get back in the ring. CM Punk gives Shawn Dean the DQ win. When I saw this, I thought this was fantastic. Before we get into the actual promo they had afterwards, what did you think of this DQ finish? I absolutely love this DQ finish to give Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, his first loss of 2022.
He's just gonna lose to CM Punk. I think that's the route they're gonna go. I don't think he's gonna beat CM Punk.
So here's my thing. I've heard a lot of different things, a lot of different suggestions that people in the community are thinking. Some people are saying, well, their match should be a dog collar match or maybe a steel cage. So you know, so MJF can't run. I'm thinking a submission match, 60-minute ultimate submission match. Because I do think that MJF needs to beat CM Punk, but I can also see it going the other way. If it was me, I would have MJF win, but I would have him win locking in the Anaconda Vice when there's like 20 seconds left. And then I would have CM Punk tap out at the 2-second mark. He just couldn't go. And MJF's finisher is the salt of the earth, so he would have already been working on the arm to begin with. What do you think if you do want to see these? I know you want to see these two in a match. What type of match would you think, and what do you think of the Ultimate Submission match?
I want to see wrestling for real.
Really?
I would love to see these two. Well, I don't know what what AEW would call it, but in like a no holds barred match.
Okay.
Or a motherfucking their twist on the last man standing.
So they do have
this gotta go to like I'm gonna beat your ass so you gonna get up. Cause how both sides on the promos be, yeah.
Well, they can do what they've done a lot of times in the lights out match where it doesn't affect the records. And it's no disqualifications, no count outs. There are no rules that once the lights go out, it's not a match that counts towards the record. But if that's the type of match you want,
winning before the lights go out is a loss of a record.
No, it's just once the lights go out, the match doesn't count on AEW records. It's still a match, like the match that the Doctor, Britt Baker, and Thunder Rosa had.
Yeah, they need to have one of those, man. Cause that's what I don't think either. Like, I don't like that. That's why I was saying like that one episode we was talking. I was saying I don't want to. I think it's too soon because I don't want to see CM Punk take up a loss yet, and I don't want to see MJF take up, a loss that might, if MJF loses to CM Punk, I feel like he gonna be set back.
Right.
But if he wins if he beats CM Punk, that's gonna take his career off. But it's like, damn, 7 years for nothing, kind of. So I think that's something that's gonna have to happen. Since AEW do the record, it's gonna the lights out match. I'll have to happen.
Yeah, to protect both of their records, but you still get the match. That's what I'm thinking. If I'm being honest, that's probably your Revolution main event. You can have that lights out go right after the AEW title, because that's going to be a bigger feud than whatever title program you have going on at the moment. And I'm a firm believer, if you have a story or a storyline that's hotter than your main title storyline, it's okay for that hotter storyline to go on last, especially if it's two people everybody wants to see.
All right.
Moving on to the promo portion of this now. MJF said CM Punk sold Tony Khan the bill of goods. He also touched on if PG Punk thinks he's as good as Piper, because Piper was actually good enough to main event a WrestleMania. MJF then said if he doesn't start to get some more respect around here, maybe he'll go ahead and main event a WrestleMania 2. I thought this was good, and I'm thinking that it can't get any better. Then CM Punk gets on the mic and says, go ahead and go to those greener pastures and main event night 4 of a buy one, get one free extravaganza, and then get released faster than MJF lasts in a sack. And then he finished it off by saying, I just want to kick your ass. You can go ahead and go there, and when you get fired and come back, that ass whooping will still be here waiting for you. MJF says then that next week's Dynamite, CM Punk will challenge Wardlow. What did you think of the promo? Every time these two get on a mic, it's absolutely fantastic. I can't hype up the promos enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, in a match like this, like, I don't want to see either or take a loss, but it's gonna have to be a match that don't affect the record. Because this match is gonna come off as one is laying on the ground, the other one's standing tall. They have to end. Both of them been going personal. Both of them been going to be taking personal shots, and just like CM Punk said, he was like, I just want to whoop your ass. So that's why I think they're gonna end up fucking around.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's got to be that type of match to where they beat the shit out of each other. I mean, I need blood spots from both of them.
Yeah.
They both have to be pouring out blood. So I definitely agree with the lights out match. Anything else you want to say about this before we move on? Because this is when the show goes downhill, and this is where I kind of got a lot to say. Next up, we have a Chris Jericho 2.0 segment. This was god awful. Chris Jericho was trying to get the crowd to chat Pinhead and Squarehead and all of this bullshit. I thought this was god fucking awful. This was one of the worst segments that Chris Jericho has been in, and it was all Chris Jericho's fault. This has nothing to do with 2.0. I thought 2.0 was fantastic. Eddie Kingston coming out and making a save. It led to the match at Rampage. I didn't like this segment. Like I said, god fucking awful, and this was all Chris Jericho's fault. All right, moving on. We had the Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish segment. This is every Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish segment. I would much rather just get to the eventual Undisputed Era versus the Elite. It's a good little filler for now, but I'm definitely going to need a little bit more, especially when Kenny Omega comes back. We had Wardlow versus Antonio Zambrano. I thought this match was fantastic. Wardlow got the win with the Powerbomb Symphony. Sean Spears had attacked Antonio Zambrano outside the ring before the match started, told Wardlow to pin him. Wardlow just went ahead and did his Powerbomb Symphony. They're really teasing the Wardlow turning on MJF. Let me throw this out there since we were just talking about MJF. What if Wardlow cost MJF that match, if it is a lights out match, against CM Punk? And that's where we get the, because you said you want CM Punk to win. That's the way that you can get CM Punk that win.
Not in a lights out match, but I would say if it's a match that really determined on the record, then I would rather have MJF lose like that instead of losing cleanly to CM Punk.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You could always go, because for a while after that, you're gonna go ahead and tell the betrayal story of MJF and Wardlow.
Love you too.
And that way, after you tell the story between MJF and Wardlow, you can circle back around and have MJF versus Punk part 2.
Okay. Yeah, I can
think we work better like that.
I can see that. And I like that idea as well. Now, before we get into this next part, you guys know me as the AEW Mark. But I can give credit where credit is due. And I'm going to give my guy Salamander his flowers. Next up, we had the TBS Championship match to crown the inaugural TBS champion, Jade Cargill versus Ruby Soho. And from the very beginning, Camilo Salamander has been putting Jade over in the strongest of ways. He said, no, this is your TBS champion. She is as good as advertised. Every time I would say, so Salamander, she's green. He says that doesn't matter. She's got the look. She's beautiful. She's a strong black woman. This is exactly who you would put a belt like this on. You were absolutely right, Salamander. With that being said, the match was god awful. Could not get into it, and I wanted to because they were trying so hard. I don't know where it went wrong, because I just don't know. I don't know where it went wrong, but it went wrong. Glad that Jade Cargill got the win. I love the picture that she had with her daughter, holding her daughter and celebrating with the TBS title. But man, this match was god awful. This match was hard to look at, Salamander.
I would say this. Talent-wise, Jay, she's a while away from being in the AEW Women's Championship picture right now. So far, every match of Jay's that I seen, what was there mistakes made? Yes, but I was still impressed, to say the least. But her winning the TBS title will keep her away from being in the top belt picture until she get better. So in the meanwhile of her carrying this title, they could be feeding her, you know, the people that be on AEW Evolution. What is it? Evolution.
Elevation, and dark.
The women that be on there, they could be feeding those to her because now she gonna have a match every Wednesday. It's a guarantee that Jay gonna be on Dynamite every Wednesday. So I think that's what they should do. Like, you know, feeding her that way, feeding her them talent that way. She looking good, she looking strong, and then boom, she also working on her background, wrestling background and everything too. But she's a believable champ to me. And the moment that she came out, they showed her daughter and everything, I knew she was gonna win.
Yeah, they show her daughter and her fiance. Yeah, they showed them both, and I knew like you don't bring them there just for that.
Yeah, but I mean, this was good. There was mistakes, but it was good. I mean, you could tell she's getting there. But
you know,
if this is gonna be like your not development title, but your title that, you know, all right, if the main women's title, the AEW women's title is on Britt Baker, and that's what you want to model your women after, like wrestling wise and gimmick wise and everything, because out of all, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker is like of what I think women should use as like as the cheat code to go to, like, all right, charismatic, wrestling wise, okay, I need something from here to make it up there. So if you're gonna use this TBS title to be like, all right, you're not there yet, but I see something in you. Yes, this is the title for that. It's Jade Cargill. She's not there yet, but she has that in her that you can see is gonna happen in the next few years. She just gotta continue to work on it. It makes sense to put the title on her right now. I told you, Thunder Rosa and them, they wasn't gonna get it. Thunder Rosa, she gonna be the one to take it off of Britt Baker. She ain't about to win that TBS title. She don't need it. I'll tell you. This is their, even if they don't have no mid-card title, this is their first mid-card title for the women's. It's the TBS title. It's the mid-card. Because everybody who's going to be competing for this title is going to be the women who's in the mid-card. The women who's on Elevation, Dark. Or the women who's on Dynamite but is not in the main title picture yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did this psychology. I think the wrestling psychology of this match was wrong. I think they still could have came out their respective heel and face tunnels because Ruby Soho came out last. I would have made Ruby wrestle heel in this match. Her daughter's out there. Go out there, start jaw jacking with her fiance and her daughter, and really have her live it up like how Danielson comes out the face tunnel, but he wrestles heel. You could have had Ruby do that just for tonight and really put Jade Cargill over as that mom, that strong black mom who's going to stand up for her daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have done that and maybe it would have added some more heat to the match. That's what it is. The match didn't have enough heat for me. Like, there was nothing really to cheer about. It's like If I'm being honest, and this is probably going to shock you, this match felt very WWE. It felt very WWE Women's Division.
It was like cheering just for. You was just basically cheering for who you like.
Yeah.
It wasn't no. Yeah, I can't agree with that. It wasn't nobody wrestling heel or face. It was just wrestling. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes more sense for Ruby Soho to wrestle heel because you're already putting the belt on Jay. So, and it's not like it's going to turn her babyface. It's just a mom sticking up for their child. It's just the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, with having Ruby Soho wrestle heel and jaw jacking with her daughter and stuff, I think that would have added that extra. Or I think, like I said, I think it would have added heat to the match and really would have got that crowd involved. Moving on, we had Serena Deeb and JR sit-down interview. They're going to run Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. I think this is match number 4. I'm thinking Serena Deeb gets the win here, and then they go ahead and move on from this. I thought it was a good... For any JR sit-down interview was good, so there's that. I thought this did its part. Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. Malachi Black got the win. This was god awful. Brian Pillman slipped when doing the flying clothesline. I saw the spot in my mind. He was going to hit a black mass when he did that flying clothesline, and Brian Pillman fucked it up. I guarantee you, if that spot happened the way it would have, the crowd would have stood up on their feet in appreciation for how great Malachi Black is. And Brian Pillman Jr. slipped on the rope.
Hey, them ropes slippery though.
They are.
They slippery.
They are, but you shouldn't be doing no springboard unless you got it.
It happens.
I mean, it does.
Rey Mysterio slipped on the rope before.
No, you're right. You're right. I definitely agree. Britt Baker
on ropes.
Everybody has. Britt Baker, Ruby Soho backstage segment setting it up for their battle with the belts. The Britt Baker started beating up Ruby Soho. Riho came in. It's every AEW backstage segment. They're always fighting. QT Marshall and Solo promo next. I thought this was good. It was to hype up Aaron Solo's match against Hook for Rampage. So I thought that was good. Tag Team Championship match on the line. Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. Rey Fenix is not a broken arm, but it's being called a dislocated elbow. But my goodness, the match leading up to this was fantastic. It's every AEW Dynamite Tag Team match. Just the belts are on the line. When Luchasaurus went to choke slam Rey Fenix off the apron through the table, I was thinking, okay, because I didn't catch this live. I actually saw it when I saw it on replay, so I didn't think nothing of it. But then I hopped on Twitter. Everybody on Twitter saying, "Bro, he broke his arm," and I'm like, "Nah, he didn't break his arm." And then they show it again on replay, and you can see his elbow getting dislocated. That was a gruesome looking spot. I wish Rey Fenix the best, speedy recovery. We definitely need you back in that ring, but focus on your health first. Make sure that arm is ready to go. Salamander, I'm going to blame Tony Khan. Tony Khan has a tendency to overbook these matches sometimes. Overbook them with dangerous spots that don't need to happen. And this was just another example. And it's a shame that it had to happen to Rey Fenix and they had to pull the title switch. Because you can tell they weren't going to do a title switch. They weren't doing it. But they had to call an audible. I thought it was a good audible. And if you had to pull an audible, what better team to do it with than Jurassic Express? Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage. Now we can get to the Christian Cage heel turn. And that's going to make it that much better because he's probably going to cost them some tag team gold. So I'm blaming Tony Khan for the spot. um, like I said before we started filming, Ray Phoenix, he had his arm out. So I don't know why he did that. That's probably just human instinct, try to break the fall, but you got to know that table's there. That table's going to break your fall. So there's no need for you to have your arm out there like that. So I can't really blame Ray Phoenix, but I can blame Tony Khan because you're the head booker. That spot didn't need to happen.
One thing I wanted to point out about the show, Jay Cargill, Hangman, and Jungle Boy, they all are young, right?
Yes.
So Tony Khan is giving the youngsters a chance. That's one thing I do like. And Daniel Bryan, excuse me, I keep calling that. Bryan Danielson being defeated, it just shows you AEW is doing something brand new and fresh. AEW, they know how to stack a card up. They had a great moment of the show that they could do, and they sure did capitalize off of it. I.e., Jay Cargill went in front of her family. So I am proud about that they capitalized off of something that they know they had to do. If this is WWE, she would have lost. She would have got her ass whooped in front of her family. That's the difference. Yeah, WWE, your hometown, you lose. AEW, your hometown, you whooping ass.
Exactly.
Overall, I'm giving this show a thumbs up. It was good. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Really? So, I'm not going to lie to you, Salamander. I'm actually giving it a 4. 4. To be honest, and we're going to get into some more stuff. I was highly disappointed with AEW's content for the week. When I would watch AEW, I know it's good because I don't want to be on my phone. This was one of the weeks where I could have put AEW on in the background and not watched it. And would have perfectly been fine with just listening to a couple of podcasters who I listen to review the show. It was a stacked card that really didn't live up to it. And I'm going to throw this out there just to see what you think, because I do want to know how you felt about the Ray Phoenix spot before you answer this question. But putting your main title on first, do you think that takes away from the rest of the show? But before you answer that, what did you think about that Ray Phoenix spot? Do you blame anybody if any blame needs to be thrown?
Like you said, some spots be unnecessary, so I agree with that. Whoever is ahead of that, yeah, I think they need to tone it down just a little bit. But I mean, it's not. I don't think the total blame is for like the upper card. I mean, the upper management, nothing like that either. Because I think partially the blame is for on Ray Phoenix, because you being a professional wrestler, you should know you don't break a fall like that. That's rule number 1. You learn that when you take a bump. So, I mean, the blame could go 50-50. But for them booking their main titles on first, I think, in situations like this, it can hurt you because your main event got fucked up. So, I will really say yes and no. Yes, like this, and then no, because if you can show that it don't matter, like your main event title is not even, like it don't have to main event the show. You could have a women's title main event the show, the tag titles main event the show, and the whole shows do good, and it don't take away from the show, like AEW proved numerous of times. Then no, but it just depends.
All right, and I definitely agree. But yeah, I gave it a 4. This was a missable AEW Dynamite, and they typically have some of those, but they further a lot of storylines. This was just missable. 3 title matches, a major fuck up at the end. It really took away from the show. Moving on, Friday Night SmackDown. The return of the head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Pat McAfee is an absolute beast on commentary when he said Roman didn't test positive for COVID. COVID tested positive for Roman. I thought that was fantastic. The Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman opening segment, I thought they knocked this out the park as well. I like how Roman Reigns was saying he doesn't do any business with anyone who is with Paul Heyman, and then Paul Heyman gets all in his feelings and how can you talk to me like that? I was protecting you. You wouldn't have that belt without me. Brock Lesnar tells Paul Heyman to shut up, and Roman Reigns is like, hold on, you can't talk to him like that. They started sowing the seeds for Paul Heyman screwing Brock, and I loved every minute of this. Roman Reigns with the Superman punch, and then he's not even waiting around for Brock to get up. He takes his belt and leaves, saying that this is his show and he does things on his time.
Yeah, they are sowing the seeds because I did want to point that out, especially when Paul was just going in and Brock was looking at Paul, and he was like, "Hold on, shut up!" Like, And then when he told Paul to shut up, you see Roman kind of getting his feelings as well. So
right.
You see both of them still have love for Paul. And then at the end of the day, you thinking that I think Paul was left thinking if he made the right decision or not.
Right.
I think that's the thing that he's doing. Or it could just be a whole twist on us. Where
that's
a part of Roman and Paul's plan. Is why else? Because after this feud, I don't think we will ever get a Paul versus, well, not Paul, but Brock versus Roman again. They ran this course. I think after this, it should be done. So, like, it's like John Cena and Randy Orton. Like, that is one of the rivalries that, is done for. You should not see it no more. So, just like Randy Orton and Edge, that shit done for. They did the last one, that shit done for. No more of it. I think it's one of those where after this one it should be it, and I think it's all part of it could be all a part of their plan. Like, why not put Brock behind you for good if we do this? Yes, have I been on your side, but he'll listen to me more. Me being Paul, he'll listen to me more, and if I show him some good, like, all the stuff that I've been doing, I think like he knew that, when he showed up on Survivor Series, but SummerSlam, I think he kind of knew. But Paul was setting all that up, but playing both sides. But Brock not knowing that he's playing both sides. Brock just thinking he's totally on his side. But, it's all a part of the plan at the end. Just to screw him over, get him up out of there so that way, Roman never got to deal with that again. Because I think at the end, Paul, he knows he can get so far with Brock, but if his career gonna take off, it's gonna take off with Roman.
I definitely agree. We have a Sami Zayn backstage segment, just pretty much hyping up the conspiracy theory around his Intercontinental Championship. Johnny Knoxville was there, and Sami Zayn heard his music. Looking back at that promo, I wonder how far away from Gorilla was he? Like, was that like right outside Gorilla?
Probably.
It had to be.
It was probably like right in the same room.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Next up, we had Sami Zayn versus Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs won. This was god awful. I'm not a fan of Rick Boogs. I'm not a fan at all. I would have preferred Sami Zayn to get this win because he is the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. So why is he taking losses to Rick Boogs? Anything you want to add to this? New Day backstage segment next. This was god awful. I think this King Woods gimmick is cringe. It's one of the worst things on SmackDown, and these two trying to talk with an accent utterly gets on my nerves. What? Anything you want to add to this?
Nah. It just seemed like ever since that, Kofi got choked out by the Almighty, he just been playing. I don't know. He's just there. That's what it seemed like.
I get that feeling as well. Next up, we had a Charlotte Flair promo. She was hyping up the Royal Rumble, and they started to talk about the participants in the Women's Royal Rumble. We have Rhea Ripley, the Bella Twins. Oh God. Nikki ASH, Shotzi, Natalya, Michelle McCool, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Mickie James, Tamina, Kelly, Aaliyah, Summer Rae, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, and Charlotte herself. And get this, Salamander, the Impact Knockouts champion, Mickie James. And to make it, I don't know if it's better or for worse, Pat McAfee even referenced her as the Impact Knockouts champion on live television.
I heard that there's a partnership coming up with Impact and WWE.
I'm not looking too much into it. I guarantee you Mickie James spends no longer than 3 minutes in the Royal Rumble. She gets thrown out immediately. I think this is just a one-off. WWE doesn't play well with others anyway. But I will tell you this. I like how Paul Levesque wanted to work with all of these different companies, and Vinnie Mac was saying, hell nah. But the minute we get all of Triple H's guys up out of there, now we want to start doing shit like sending AJ Styles to NXT, hitting up Impact for a wrestler or two. What do you think about this partnership? If I don't like this partnership for Impact, because why would you even help this company out when all they've done is dogged you guys out and shit on your promotion time and time again?
It's potential. I would say that. It's potential.
It's potential. What does that mean?
It's potential that it could be good, it could be bad.
But what do you
They
think?
both capitalize on it.
That's all. I thought you'd have more to say about this.
No, I mean I seen it coming with AEW doing all their partnerships, and then when they the AEW people dropped all their Impact belts and all that, and then they Impact started pulling their superstars. I knew something coming up.
Naomi interrupted Charlotte's promo. The next we got Charlotte versus Naomi. Charlotte got the W after Sonya Deville kept changing the rules mid-match. It was a good TV match. This was good. I just don't like Sonya Deville out here changing everything. But I thought the match with Naomi was good. All right. Next up, we had the Usos hyping up the street fight for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in the main event. If you've seen the New Day and Usos match, you've seen them all. I thought this segment was decent. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage segment next. Adam Pearce had to pick a challenger for Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. He had to the end of the night, and it was his decision. Next up, we had Happy Corbin and Happy Talk. Their special guest was Drew McIntyre, but it just turned out to be Madcap Moss pretending to be Drew McIntyre. It led into the tag team match of Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin versus the Viking Raiders, in which they got the W. It was a decent match. Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin, they are showing potential in that tag team division. What did you think of this match? If you have anything to say about it.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm ready to see Baron Corbin come back in the singles division.
Makes sense. Next up, we had a Sheamus backstage segment talking about Ridge Holland's nose being broken, and that was just a disaster in itself. We had the main event. The tag team titles are on the line in a street fight. The Usos versus the New Day. The match was fantastic. It did what it needed to do. Glad they decided to keep it on the Usos, because we've seen time and time again where that the challengers lose on pay-per-view, but then they win on the weekly episodic TV shows. So I'm glad they decided to keep it with the Usos. Like I said, if you've seen one Uso versus New Day, you've seen them all, but I still thought the match was fantastic. What did you think about this?
like you said, you seen one, you seen them all. I don't think we needed to see the new Day versus not Street Profits, but the Usos again. We seen that so many times though. But one thing I wanted to point out was a super kick Xavier Woods had on that helmet. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was a good spot. Finishing up, the show was going off the air, and Roman Reigns heard a knock at the door. Kind of sounded like the Shield's old music, or how it used to start, and it was Seth Rollins laughing. So at the Royal Rumble, we're getting Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, which I have no doubt will be an absolute banger of a match, especially with Roman Reigns in this godlike tier that he's in right now.
But isn't Seth Rollins on Raw?
Yes, Seth Rollins is on Raw.
They doing too many other. How, bro? Brock Lesnar the only one that got special privileges. He's a free agent. They might as well get rid of Raw SmackDown. Just make it a free for all.
Merge the divisions, merge the shows, and do everything else that needs to be done. Then you can get away with stuff like this.
Yeah.
Going ahead and wrapping up the week of wrestling, we had Rampage, Jake Atlas versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole got the win. Jake Atlas injured his knee. I thought the match was good. Hook versus Aaron Solo was absolutely fantastic. Hook picked up the win with the red rum. Hook is going to be a future AEW star. He's already a star now. He's one of the most over people in AEW. Next up, we have Ruby Soho and Riho versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Ruby Soho and Riho picked up the win. Gotta keep building up Riho for that battle with the belts. And last but not least, the main event, Santana Ortiz and Eddie Kingston, Proud and Powerful, and Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia in 2.0. Eddie Kingston, Proud and Powerful, got the wins. Afterwards, 2.0 beat him up. Chris Jericho came down from commentary to make the save. Rampage, just like Dynamite, was boring, and it wasn't a lot going on. And we're going to finish the week of wrestling with the AEW Battle of the Belts. Cody Rhodes had entered medical protocol, so the TNT title would not be on the line. They went ahead and crowned an interim TNT champion, Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara won. There was a nice Canadian destroyer spot through a table, but I don't like doing a table spot in the same week that Rey Fenix dislocated his elbow. It's kind of like a spit in the face to me as a fan. Mm-hmm. Again, a spot that doesn't need to be there. Next up, we had the FTW Championship on the line. Matt Sydal versus Ricky Starks. This was good. It was a nice little match, but the decision was never in doubt. Ricky Starks retained, hit the Rochambeau on Matt Sydal. Like I said, it was a nice little match, but you just know that the FTW title isn't leaving Team Taz. If they do decide to do that, I would like for it to go on Leo Rush, and then Leo Rush goes through all of Team Taz, and he loses to Hook. And Hook brings the FTW title back to Team Taz. Then we had the main event. The AEW Women's World Championship is on the line. The challenger, Riho, against Britt Baker. The AEW Women's World Champion, the Doctor, Britt Baker, DMD. Britt Baker retained. She won with the lockjaw, getting her first win over Riho. I actually thought the main event was fantastic. Too much interference, but I'm okay with that. And with my heels, I do understand where a lot of people are coming from, though. She does need a credible win, and she needs to get the win with no interference, but I just like that for the Doctor, Britt Baker. You know, because you put the heat on who her people, her entourage is instead of her. So I like that. What did you think about the main event?
Britt Baker is Britt Baker. She's one if not one of, if not the, she's one of the best women wrestlers right now. Top 5, for real.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Every Britt Baker match I've seen, I'm never disappointed.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed in the match. The match was decent. Like I said, like I told you with Dynamite and Rampage, they just didn't hit for me. This was everything AEW put out content wise this week was very missable to me. Even Battle of the Belts, I would give Battle of the Belts out of 10. I give it a 4, just like Dynamite. It was missable. nothing really happened outside of crowning Sammy Guevara the interim TNT champion. Outside of that, you really didn't miss nothing. None of these matches were blow away.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Camilo Salamander, KB the Mart. We will see y'all guys soon.